Hey everybody, it's Saturday. I'm Amber. We're here this week. Our topic this week is talking about debunking trans myths and talking about some of the myths that we've heard in the community and our thoughts on them. So I've got a little list so I don't forget things because I'm not sitting at my computer like usual. So the first one I want to talk about is one that I've seen come up a lot in the FTM Sweethearts group, is people talking about their partner thinking that once they get on T and have surgery that their life will be perfect. And I think to me it's very similar to someone who says, well, once I get a new job, my life will be perfect. Or once I lose weight, my job will be perfect. Or once I achieve this particular goal in my life, my job will be perfect. And to me, if you have issues, if there's something you're struggling with, if there's something you're dealing with, it doesn't really matter whether or not you achieve that thing, you lose weight, you get a new job, you start T, you have surgery. Those things will come back. I think T, a lot of times, and Shay talked about this, T can be a Band-Aid, and surgery can be a Band-Aid for the issues that you already have going on in your life. So it can be really easy for you for the trans guy to think, or a trans woman to think, well, once I get on hormones, my life will be perfect, everything will be fine. When in reality, they should really be going to a therapist and talking through those issues and dealing with those things. Things like depression can get better, anxiety can get better, because sometimes those things are caused by not being comfortable in your skin. But in a general way, those things, many of those mental health sorts of things are going to come back once the transition is complete. And so I would really encourage people, if you're dealing with things like depression, anxiety, issues with your family, or baggage from your past, to try to deal with those things before you get on T, because it makes the transition a lot easier for people. The second thing that a lot of people talk about is personality changing. And I was thinking a lot about this today. Shu and I were out running errands, and we're kind of half looking for a new place to live. And so we visited a few places, and I was thinking about this as we were driving. And I think that for many people, what their partners see as a personality change is really their true personality coming out. For those of us who are cisgendered, it can be kind of hard to imagine feeling like you're stuck in the wrong body. But I think for our partners, when they are in a place where they don't feel comfortable with their body, that often manifests as them coming off as shy or quiet or distant, or disconnected or angry or really sappy, or whatever the case may be. And I think being on T, or starting transition, or having surgery, or in general feeling more comfortable with their body and with how people see them, helps their true personality to come out. And so I don't think it's really a personality change. I think it's really a personality revelation, or their personality kind of revealing itself to the world. The third myth that I wanted to talk about is around relationships and gender attraction and all that sort of stuff. A big one that Shu and I heard from many people is that your relationship can't survive T and can't survive the transition. For us, what we found is incredibly important is that we communicate, and that if he's being difficult or he's having a really emotional day, that I call him out on that, especially if he's being mean to me, and that we communicate and we talk about what's going on. We've definitely seen folks in the groups that we're a part of and the people that we know who use the transition as an excuse for them to basically be an asshole. They use the transition as an excuse to go out and date other people, or they've always dated women and they use that as an excuse to say, well, in this time where I'm becoming more comfortable with myself, I'm going to go start dating men. And it's kind of a cop-out. I'm going to come back to the attraction change, but in terms of like the transition girlfriend, I think it's a cop-out. And I think we can definitely attest to, being a year into this process, that your relationship can survive T. and can survive the transition, because we have had a lot of conversation and we communicate very openly and fully, and that makes it easier when I'm struggling with something or when he's struggling with something, that we talk about it. Going back to the gender attraction change, and I think Shay talked about this too, and I liked the way that she talked about it, that I think for a lot of our partners, some of them were always attracted to men, or were always attracted to women. Just like for most of us, we were always attracted to whoever we were always attracted to, be it men, women, both, anyone. And I think for people like my partner, he's also attracted to men, but I think he never felt like the way that he presented when he was still identifying as female, that was something that was attractive to a man who likes women. And so in the transition process and in becoming more comfortable with himself, it allows, I think, many of our partners to say, well, now I present in a way that is more attractive to men who are attracted to men, as opposed to men who are attracted to women, because there's a lot of gender roles and expectations that tend to go along with that. So I think it's not necessarily a gender attraction change, but more of a, this is how I've always felt, but I never felt like anyone would think that I was attractive in the way that I was presenting. So hopefully that made sense. There was a little bit of discussion going on today on the Sweethearts channel, the Sweethearts page, about this. I think there's an expectation a lot of times, or a thing that as a trans person you have to go see an endocrinologist. And I just wanted to take a minute to say that is not true. Shu sees a general practitioner. He specializes he sees a lot of trans patients and a lot of HIV positive patients, and that's a lot of what his practice is. And if you have a qualified doctor, they should be able to look at your test results and notice if there's a level that's off or is weird. And then you may need to go see an endo if they can't figure out how to get that level back at its normal level. But you don't have to see an endo. And also with that, you don't have to stay with a doctor who doesn't respect you or doesn't respect your decision or doesn't respect what you're trying to do with your life. So I just wanted to state that as well as a trans myth. I think that's all that I have for this week. I think our topic for next week, we've decided, is going to be on our life outside of transition. So what are some of the things we do and love and enjoy, and what else goes on in our life? Because we've spent the last 6 or 7 weeks only talking about trans-related things. So hope everybody has a good weekend. If you're in the cold, snowy regions like me, I hope you're staying warm, and we'll see everybody next week.